The push wasn't hard. That was the first thing I noticed. It came from my left, an open palm to the chest, casual, performative. Enough to make a point. Enough to draw eyes. Champagne glasses stilled midair. Laughter thinned into a brittle silence. "Relax," he said, smiling for the room. "I'm just saying. She needs a man who can keep her safe." My shoes slid half an inch on the marble floor. Nothing dramatic. Nothing worth reacting to. My wife didn't laugh. She didn't step forward either. Her eyes flicked to me, then away, like someone watching a test they already knew the outcome of. The room smelled like citrus and money. Company party, year-end bonuses, people who mistook proximity to power for possession of it. I straightened my jacket, smoothed the cuff, felt my pulse settle instead of spike. I remember thinking how strange it was, how quiet everything became inside me. Like a switch flipped. 10 minutes later, someone was screaming for medical assistance. But in that moment, with his hand still hovering where my chest had been, I understood something with perfect clarity. This wasn't about strength. It was about permission, and someone in that room had already given it to him. I didn't look at him when he finished talking. I looked at her. We had practiced smiles for years, boardrooms, dinners, photographs, where nothing was wrong. I knew every version of her face. This one was new. Tight mouth, controlled breath, the kind of expression you wear when something has gone too far, but only because witnesses are present. He kept talking. About safety, about presence, about what a real man should be. Her colleagues laughed politely. A few nodded. Social reinforcement, pack behavior. No one told him to stop. That's when the older memories began to rearrange themselves. Late nights explained too carefully. His name appearing in conversation more often than necessary. Her phone turning face down, not abruptly, just intentionally. I had dismissed them because dismissal was easier than recalibration. Denial isn't loud. It's efficient. I met her gaze again. She gave me the smallest shake of her head. Not no. Please. That was the moment the betrayal clarified. Not an affair revealed in text messages or lipstick on a collar. Something quieter. She had allowed another man to speak for her. About her needs, her safety, her future, and she hadn't corrected him. He pushed me again. Lighter this time. A joke, really. I stepped back, not from him, but from her. And the room exhaled, mistaking restraint for weakness. I didn't touch him. I touched my watch. Heart rate steady. No adrenaline spike. Interesting. I asked a single question, soft enough to be private, sharp enough to register. "Have you been drinking tonight?" He scoffed. The crowd leaned in. I nodded once. Logged it away. Then I excused myself. People assume escalation requires volume. They're wrong. It requires sequence. I spoke to the event coordinator first. Calm, concerned. Mentioned liability, alcohol policies. The company's zero-tolerance stance. Quoted verbatim from the employee handbook I'd reviewed months earlier, when her promotion put us both on the invite list. Then security. Two men who didn't care about bravado, only procedures. I returned to the room and stood exactly where I'd been pushed from. He was still talking. Louder now. Emboldened by my absence, I waited. The tremor came before the collapse. A hand to his chest. A falter in rhythm. Confusion replacing confidence. Someone laughed, then stopped. He went down slowly, awkwardly, not cinematic. Real emergencies rarely are. When security moved, it wasn't toward me. They moved past me. My wife stared as they loaded him onto the gurney. Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. She wasn't wrong. We didn't speak in the car. At home, she broke first. He didn't mean it like that. I placed my phone on the counter between us. Open, screen lit. A message thread she hadn't deleted. Not romantic, worse, strategic. He understands me. He makes me feel protected. You're good, but you're distant. I didn't ask her to explain. I didn't need to. I asked one question, the only one that mattered. Did you ever correct him? Silence. That was my answer. Her eyes filled. Her voice cracked. Apologies arrived late and unstructured. I nodded as if receiving a report. Then I slid a folder across the counter. A resignation letter. Hers. Pre-written. Dated for Monday. I already spoke to HR, I said. Conflict of interest. Perception issues. They agreed. She stared at the paper like it might bite. You can still change this, she whispered. I shook my head. I already did. By New Year's, everyone knew. Not the affair, there wasn't one, not technically. Something worse. That she had bet on a man who mistook aggression for protection, and a husband who understood systems better than fists. He survived. Hospital bed, quiet room, no visitors from work. Liability investigations have a way of isolating people. She moved out before the fireworks. No scene, no shouting, just boxes and space. The last thing I told her was the truth, delivered without heat. You wanted someone who could keep you safe. I wanted someone who wouldn't invite danger into the room and call it strength. She didn't respond. I don't replay the moment often. Not the push, not the fall. What stays with me is the silence afterward. The clarity. Protection isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It anticipates. It removes threats without spectacle. I didn't lose my temper that night. I lost my illusions. And when the year turned and the city lit up in borrowed colors, I realized something simple and irreversible. I had stopped defending my place in her life, and in doing so, I finally secured my own.